Hello.
Hey there.
How are you?
I'm good. Well, as any of you who watch our channel know, we've been doing a number of videos on our little favorite coffee maker here, the Cafelat robot. And we've always shown me doing the coffee making, when in fact, both of us make coffee. And we've had a number of inquiries about, like, is it possible for a woman to use the robot and get enough pressure to make a good espresso? So today, we're going to let Nadia show you how she makes coffee. She makes a slightly different style of coffee than I do.
I make an espresso, and then I'm basically making an Americano by adding more water and then just like a touch of milk and just a bit of sugar. And that's my morning coffee because I like to have a cup of coffee, but I don't want to do a drip coffee. I think sometimes for me that's a little too much. It's more of a personal preference. That's the way I enjoy my cup of coffee. So it's pretty much an Americano.
Yeah. And sometimes we use different beans.
Sometimes quite a bit.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
So, and that sometimes requires different grind settings, which is one of the things we like about the Encore ESP. It's easy for us to adjust the grind to our personal tastes. Because I'm making an espresso, sometimes I'll lean towards lighter roasts and a finer grind to increase the extraction. But it tends to vary. So.
This particular bean that we're using for today's demonstration is actually perfect because this bean is forcing me to actually put more pressure on the Cafelat to make the espresso. There's another variety of bean that we've had before, prior to this one, where it'd be a finer grind than for this bean, but it'd be only requiring 3 or 4 bars of pressure, and it was quite easy for me. There was barely any resistance, and it was still a delicious coffee, whereas this one, it's a little bit of a rougher grind. It is a medium grade bean, but I find it requires more pressure. But for me to get the flavor that I want, I tend to have to play per bean style as to which works best. So for me, not every bean needs to be 9 bars. I can't even do 9 bars. Up to 6 bars is the most that I do, maybe sometimes 7. But 3 to 4 for in terms of pressure is fine, as long as your espresso still tastes delicious.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of experimenting and seeing what works for you. So you don't have to go all muscle out into it.
And the inventor, Paul, he recommended just sort of in the 6 to 8 bar maximum range.
Yeah.
And, that produces an espresso, and that's fairly easy for you to do.
Yeah.
Do you find when you're doing it, are you looking at the gauge, or are you just mostly doing it by feel?
I've learned to go more by feel, and I use the gauge as a reference, whereas in the beginning I was looking at the gauge quite a bit. But like today, you'll see the gauge is facing you, and I don't know if we'll be able to repeat what I'm doing, but I can tell from the way it pours out that I'm around between 5 and 7 range. Now, the way I do it, it will never be perfectly 6 bars because I have to do hand position switches for me to get to the point of where I'd want it to be so that I could actually apply the pressure, because I can't just go straight down like this unless it's a 3 or 4 bean espresso, a 3 or 4 bar espresso. But for something like this where it requires more resistance, I actually first start off like this. I like to put my pinky in little hands, and then I start going down. And this for me is the toughest part, is the initial. Once a few drips come through, then I wait 30 seconds. When I'm done, then I start pressing through, and you might see me shake a little, but when I get to the point where I can reach its legs, I will go down to here, and then I will start to go down like this, and then eventually my fingers will go in and I'll press down. So I will never get a perfect 6 bar all the way through, so my range is going to be between 5 and 7 bars.
Yeah. But you can sort of ramp it up and down by feel.
Yeah.
Which is what's delightful about this machine, is you get a real feel for what you're doing.
And that's where you don't need to have the fear of it being perfect all the time, because I still get a delicious espresso the way that I like it. I don't like it too bitter. I don't like it too sour. I like a nice middle point because I'm making it into an Americano. So I get the espresso that I want. With that particular bean, what do you do? Do you go within a 6-bar range, or do you?
I think I generally grind this one a little bit finer. It's a little darker bean, so it's a little bit more porous. So I find that I grind it a little bit finer so I can get slightly more pressure against the bean, and then, that gives me the extraction yield I'm sort of looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, so with the same bean, we're doing 2 different.
Yeah, because I actually don't mind a fairly bitter espresso. I tend to like bitter flavors, so.
Whereas I'm not too keen on the bitterness. I don't mind that little bit in the beginning, but not all the way through. So with the same bean, we get different pushes out of it for the espresso.
So why don't you take over and make some espresso?
Okay, this is my first coffee video. So please bear with me.
You're not exactly a newbie, though.
No.
I'm going to grab a camera.
Okay. Okay. What I like to do when I have the hopper, I like to actually give it a good shake within the hopper just to sort of even out the grind. It's become a bit of a habit in the morning. I have my podcast playing and I'll just walk around and do this for a little bit. There'll still be clumps, but it is what it is. That's what you have a WDT tool for. I have my brew chamber. Okay, a little WDT tool. Screen. Okay. Ready, Rob? Ready?
Ready.
I'm just waiting for the 30-second pass. Okay. And this is where it starts to get a bit easier for me because I have a proper grip on the machine. And there you go. We have a lovely little espresso. See, for me, it's not too bitter, it's not too sour, it's a happy middle. That little bit of sugar and the milk just gives it a little more creaminess for me. And that's my cup of coffee in the morning. And I usually just have 1 cup of coffee. Even though Rob will have, I think, what, 3 or 4 espressos?
Or maybe sometimes more.
Maybe sometimes more. I am more of a tea drinker, but I do look forward to my cup of coffee in the morning, especially ones that we make at home. I am so spoiled. It's hard for, when we're traveling, getting coffee somewhere from outside. because I know I can make a better cup of coffee at home.
We've become very coffee spoiled.
I hope that doesn't make me sound snobby. It's just, I really enjoy my cup of coffee at home. It was hard when we were traveling in China.
Oh, but we did find,
We did.
yeah, third wave coffee has hit China in a big way. So
In a
we
big
did
way.
find some nice cafes there.
Which I was happy about.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my coffee. That's a woman making a cup of coffee. Not sure what we're gonna call this video. But again, you don't need to always have 6 bars. You can go at 3 to 4 bars, depending on the flow of your espresso, and you can make coffee.
Yes, you can.
Yep. These are nice and sturdy in place, so don't worry about thinking that you'll be breaking this. It doesn't move at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good solid machine.
I love this machine. Hope you guys enjoyed your coffee making and hope this video helped to show an unedited version of us making espresso.
Here you go. So, enjoy.
And if you missed it, we do have a review of the Baratza Encore ESP grinder. That's in the previous video. Go check it out. Take care, everyone.
Enjoy.
Bye. That is a good cup of coffee.
I thought it was good to walk on with the camera.
Yes. Should I turn these off?
I think so, yeah. I think we got it.
We did it all in one take.